This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark News.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us again on the program. We have with us the president and CEO of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Tom Schmid is back, and we really appreciate you coming in and giving us updates on what's going on at the zoo.
Oh, always happy to come in. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Well, spring is right around the corner, and that means a lot of exciting things happening. But let's take a look back just for a minute of the winter season. Some really bad weather this winter, and I know it forced you guys to close for a few days, which is something you rarely ever do. I imagine during times like that, your zookeepers are really busy making sure the animals are safe and comfortable.
They are. It was a kind of an unprecedented situation for us. We closed for over a week, and we did it for a number of reasons. We want to make sure our staff is safe, our guests are safe, and our animals are safe. And it's just better and easier to do that on those really extreme days when it's closed. So we had ride-out teams. We made sure that all of our food stocks were where they needed to be. Checked generators, heaters, making sure all the indoor places for our animals were in great shape. And so, yeah, we made it through fine. And, it was obviously didn't have any attendance that day, but we had such a strong wildlife season that actually bled into January, and with a couple of other days, really nice days that we've had, our attendance is up probably 15 or 20%. So
that's fantastic.
So we're doing pretty well.
And obviously then Wildlight's a big success.
Yeah, we had another great season of Wildlights, and actually added some new features that folks really enjoyed. So yeah, we're a little bit late in taking the lights down because of the weather and some other things, but it was a great season for us.
That's okay. As soon as they're down, it'll be time to start putting them up again. Probably.
Yeah. And the nice thing too, for the first time, our new North America region was open this year and over Wildlight. So you remember that was a big capital project we finished last summer. So this was the first sort of winter that we had with the North America Trek program. And the great thing about that is those animals, they love the cold. They love the winter. You can see the wolves out even when it's 35 degrees. You know, the river otters are swimming through the pool. The bears are active. I mean, it's just a really great experience, really literally all four seasons. So we were excited to have that open, and we're excited to have it open for the spring, obviously.
Well, spring is right around the corner. Give us an update on what's going on at the zoo this spring.
Yeah, so just it's a great time at the zoo. The spring is really when a lot of our savanna animals start coming out in heart of Africa. A lot of the primates you start to see, they're coming out of their indoor spaces and enjoying time outside. The elephants were outside yesterday. So it's a great time to visit. We've got, in case you haven't heard, 2 baby elephants and Rita Jean and Ollie, and they've just been just tremendous to watch and grow, and they've probably almost doubled in size. But just amazing to see them interact together. We've got 2 beautiful new Emmer tigers that just were part of a cooperative conservation and breeding program that we're involved in, and so they are in Asia Quest. They're young animals. Interesting. They seem to love the snow. So they were out even on the coldest day, jumping in the snow, running, chasing each other. They're younger animals, probably a year and a half. They're just beautiful, beautiful, terrific animals. So it's been fun to watch those as well. So lots of things coming online. In terms of promotions, we've got, eggs, paws, and claws. Everyone enjoys, the Easter holiday and coming out to the zoo. Lots of kind of family-friendly activities. So that'll be happening beginning of April 3rd and 4th. And then we move into more of our conservation mission-focused programming with our Earth Day celebration. So that's a great chance for us to talk about the conservation work we're doing right here in Ohio and around the world. So we're always encouraging folks to come out for that. That's toward the end of April, kind of April 26th, 25th and 26th time frame. And then I'll also mention, I touched on North America Trek. So within North America Trek, we opened the Columbus Center for Wildlife Conservation. So this is the first time we've really told a comprehensive story of the work we do right here in Ohio. So we repurposed an existing building, got some wonderful support from our partners at ODNR, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. And so in this space, you can actually see our hellbender breeding facility. So it's an area where we breed hellbenders for reintroduction. We've introduced about 2,000 of these salamanders back into rivers and streams in Ohio. We talk about our burying beetle program, how important that is for soil health, plains garter snakes, freshwater mussels. We have a world-class freshwater mussel conservation research facility right across the river from the zoo. And probably, I would say most people have no idea that it exists. It's a partnership with OSU. We're doing really cutting edge research to help conserve one of the most endangered animals in Ohio.
Where are those found?
They're found in rivers throughout the state, and they're oftentimes indicators of health of the river. They filter sediment, and they're an important species, and they're kind of overlooked. But we have a number of different freshwater mussel species here in Ohio. Pretty amazing physiology, and important pieces of the ecosystem.
Tom Schmid is here, the president and CEO of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, and he's talking about spring and what's going on at the zoo. Before we started the program, you mentioned to me you have some discounts coming up.
We do, yeah. So through the end of May, folks typically like to come to the zoo first thing in the morning, which is understandable. But if you want to save a little money, if you want to come in the afternoon, it's actually less crowded. You come after 2 o'clock, you can get a significant discount to that ticket. So it's about $19 to get in after 2. So that's a great savings. We're also we'll start this in the summer, but we're doing a 2-day ticket for the zoo in Zoombezi. So to see the entire Columbus Zoo, I mean, it's about a 4.5 mile walk. It takes about 6 hours to see everything we do. Water park, you can spend all day there. So instead of trying to do both of those in one day, we have a 2-day ticket now. You can get that online. And really, what a great way to have just kind of a mini vacation in your backyard.
And I know that you also still have discounts for Franklin County residents.
Absolutely, yeah. We were really pleased with the support we received. We had a really strong levy vote last year, and so Franklin County voters contribute a significant amount to the operating of the zoo. They help those funds help care for the animals. They help purchase food for the animals. They actually pay the salaries of our keepers and our trade facilities guys and gals that got to maintain the zoo. So our veterinary care staff, that's a wonderful benefit, and giving them a discount is just a small way we can say thanks.
Are there any new animals at the zoo this year?
Well, let's see. So this will be the first year that North America Trek is fully open, so we're excited about that. We've got a lot of really interesting and beautiful birds in the North American aviary there, as well as our trumpeter swan. I'd mentioned the 2 new emerald tigers, those are kind of some of the newer animals, and then of course we're the new baby elephants, the elephant calves. Folks are really excited to see them.
Talk a little bit about one of the favorites I know at the aquarium are the manatees and the manatee rescue program that you're involved in. Any updates there?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I think last year we had a record manatee release. So I think it was 19 animals from all the different zoos that participate in this program along with us. Manatees are under, they're under constant threats in Florida. There's a variety of reasons for that. So we continue to do that program. We'll continue to care for orphan calves at the zoo, grow them up, and then release them. But we actually took another big step forward on manatee conservation last year, and we really thought about, if we want to save manatees from extinction, we have to do more than just rescuing animals in Florida and returning them to the Gulf. We've got to think about the entire Caribbean Sea. So we developed this coalition, this manatee consortium, where we're bringing together governmental leaders and partners and NGOs from the countries all around the Caribbean to come together to develop conservation action plans to try to save the manatee from extinction. So we've significantly increased our commitment, in addition to the rescue program, for manatees. We really felt like we needed to do more. We've got the capacity now to do more, and that's a pretty exciting program. It's in the early stages. It's only been activated for probably about 1.5 years. So guests and everyone will hear more about it in the future, but that's a pretty exciting initiative.
I think about a program like that has so many different facets. How is something like that funded?
So it's funded through a number of ways. So Every ticket that's sold at the zoo, $1 that goes toward our conservation program. Every membership, $5 goes toward that conservation program. You play a round of golf at Safari Golf Club, part of that goes to conservation. You buy a ticket to Zoombezi. So and that's the neat thing about our program is that, we want folks to come to the zoo and just have a great time with their family and learn about animals, but just by buying a ticket, they're actually helping save animals from extinction. So all those programs help support conservation work. We also fundraise for our conservation work. We apply for grants to help support the conservation work. So it's funded by a multitude of different sources, and it's millions of dollars a year that we commit to this. That's the reason we exist, is to support conservation work so we can save animals from extinction.
And I know a lot of people come out, they'll buy a daily ticket, but you also have a lot of memberships sold. And that's not just a yearly pass, that's an actual membership. Talk about some of the benefits of being a zoo member.
Yeah, so if you really like to go to the zoo and you want to go often, the membership is absolutely the best possible program. I mean, it allows you access to the zoo essentially 364 days a year. And interestingly enough, we have folks that come once a week, every other week, a couple times a month, and so it's a remarkable program. Members have access to the zoo. They get publications. They get information from us about the work that we're doing. Free parking. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to being a member of the zoo, and it also helps support us because that's a revenue stream. If someone buys a membership at the beginning of the year, they can use that all year, but then we have that revenue that can support our programming, help care for our animals at the beginning of the year when cash flow is a little bit low. So the membership is a great program for a number of reasons for us.
Congratulations, by the way. I understand in USA Today, once again, the Columbus Zoo named the best zoo in Ohio.
Well, we're thankful for that. I mean, there's lots of different ways to recognize what makes a great zoo. We're actually, I always tell folks, Ohio punches above its weight in zoos. We have remarkable zoos here. We're big fans of the Cincinnati Zoo. We do a lot of work with Cincinnati Zoo. We work together on manatees as well as rhino conservation work. Cleveland Metro Parks, terrific zoo. Akron, Toledo. We work with Toledo on polar bear conservation. So yeah, there's we're fortunate, but we're proud to be one of the great zoos that exist in this state.
Tom Schmid is here, the president and CEO of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. The website address?
ColumbusZoo.org.
Easy to remember, ColumbusZoo.org. You can get all the information there about the stuff that we're talking about today. One of the reasons I love the zoo so much in the spring is, the Columbus Zoo is sort of a botanical garden. It is absolutely beautiful in the spring, and if you're a plant lover, and you like to see a lot of varieties, that's a good place to go.
It really is, and our landscaping and horticulture team do a remarkable job. They're actually beginning to look at how we can be certified as a botanical garden or as an arboretum, and so they give a lot of care, a lot of thought into the plantings, how they plant them, how they're using fertilizer. It's a pretty remarkable group of people that manage that. It's a small group, but they're mighty, and they do a tremendous job.
It certainly looks beautiful, but you have a lot of considerations of what kind of plants are safe for the animals to be around.
Absolutely, especially when you get plantings that are close to habitats. We have to be really careful about what's in there. So, yeah, a lot of thought, a lot of effort, a lot of planning goes into that program.
Talk a little bit about the wilds. I know there's some big news there with the baby rhino.
Yeah, so the wilds, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just about to share with folks and remind them about our 10,000-acre safari park that's really just a little over an hour from Columbus. Both our Asian one-horned rhino program and our white rhino program are really probably one of the most successful rhino breeding programs of any zoological facility in the country. And we continue to work with other zoos to help them with their breeding programs. It's a remarkable program, and it's really just, for guests, particularly in the wintertime, to go inside the barn and see some of these baby animals and juvenile animals. It's a pretty remarkable experience.
And it's interesting, too, because just, over near Zanesville, just east of here, you can really get a sort of a safari experience.
You can. So we can, folks can go out in a variety of different vehicles, actually get into the pastures. We're doing more with our bison program now, so we're going to be introducing new infrastructure so folks can actually journey out into the prairies where the bison are. We're building a new giraffe barn, which will have a lodge in the barn, so guests can actually spend the night with giraffes. So there's a lot of lodging opportunities we have at the Wilds now. We have yurts, we have cabins. We opened the Hellbender campground last year. That was a big success. So a lot of folks with RVs are coming in and spending multiple days because there's a lot to do there. So it's again, it's another great opportunity to have a vacation pretty close to home, and just some remarkable things. We've got a new leader there, Dr. Joe Greathouse. So he was actually led our conservation programs about a decade ago, and now we recruited him to come back to be the director of that institution. So he's a terrific guy doing a great job. Just a remarkable team of individuals out there that have so much passion for that program.
Now, besides the zoo itself and the Wilds, are there any other facilities that you run or own in Ohio?
So we've got Zambezi Bay Water Park, and we actually had a terrific year last year. It was actually the best year we've had since 2019. Opened up a new one-of-a-kind ride on Zambezi Bay Conservation Tower, and it's got these 3 rides. I've ridden 2 of them. They're really exciting, and guests really enjoy that. So we're going to be excited. We'll have a full year of that coming up. And then the Safari Golf Club, that's our golf course that we manage. Terrific program. Again, you talk about botanical collections. It's a beautiful golf course, very well maintained and Audubon certified. So only maybe 2 to 3% of the golf courses in the state of Ohio, get that certification, and that really looks at how we manage water, how we manage fertilizer, how we manage our turf. What do we do to create wildlife habitat on the course? We've got bird boxes and different things to supplement wildlife out there. So it's a pretty, it's almost like a botanical and zoological experience as you're playing golf. You get to see some amazing animals out there, some beautiful vistas, and it's just a great golf course, public golf course. Really, I'm not sure we could fit more rounds. We're pretty booked up pretty much all the time, but I'd always encourage folks to come by, especially during the week. We'll have some opportunities for folks to play, but yeah, that's a terrific program.
I had a unique experience last year. I went to a wedding at the zoo, and that was pretty exciting. It was in the one area where you could actually get up close to giraffes and other animals. Yeah,
the Africa Event Center is arguably our best event venue, and it overlooks the savannah. We actually just had a meeting with our partners, SSA Group. They manage, we outsource all of our food and beverage and retail. SSA Group is a terrific partner. They're based in Denver, a family-owned company, does a terrific job. We did over 500 events at the zoo last year. So corporate events, weddings, team building, different things. On any given day, sometimes we've got 2 to 3, sometimes 4 events happening at the same time. So that's a pretty big part of our business. But yeah, that venue is pretty remarkable to be able to. In fact, I've oftentimes we'll give presentations there, and it's really hard to compete. You're trying to talk to an audience about something, and all of a sudden, 3 giraffe walk by. They immediately divert from you and look out the window. I always have to pause a minute and let folks enjoy that experience.
Oh, I know that you just had that major opening of the North America area. Talk about your long-term plans for the zoo.
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of planning right now. We actually a lot of behind-the-scenes things that folks don't see. For example, we've got a major renovation going on in our gorilla area. It's probably a $3 to $4 million project that just started. That's going to improve the space for those animals during the wintertime, create additional chute space, so opportunities for them to go back and forth between their winter and summer holding. Working on that. We've got new roofs planned for our aviary in our islands area in Australia. North America Trek, so the second phase of North America. That was such a big project that we really had to divide it up into 2 phases. So first phase is open, second phase is in design right now. Hopefully we'll start construction on that about a year from now. That will have sort of reimagined habitats for our moose and for our mountain lion and for our the Canadian lynx and some of the other animals that folks are used to seeing, reindeer or caribou. So we're excited about that. And then just continuing to work on some other programs and projects in the future. Ultimately what we want to do right now, we're largely a seasonal attraction, as you can imagine. Folks come out during wild lights. We see big numbers in the summer, not as much in the spring and the fall. We launched that Lantern Festival 2 years ago, so that's a new event for folks to be able to experience the zoo in a little bit different light, so to speak, in the fall. That's been really successful. But we want to create more activities and more programs and more experiences that folks can literally come out at any time. So more indoor habitat, better indoor habitats for our animals, more indoor experiences for our guests. So we're working on some ideas there, and we want to ultimately be a year-round destination. We want to move from just being a seasonal attraction to some place where folks from Pittsburgh or Chicago or Indianapolis will come for the weekend and hopefully stay at a hotel somewhere in Powell or maybe even at the zoo. Spend an evening at our Centennial Village, which is the area where we're building out, where all of our rides and attractions are. Maybe play golf in the morning, go to the zoo in the afternoon, go to Zambezi Bay the next day. We have enough assets there, and with some of the things that we're going to be working on in the future to make this a multi-day destination. And that has a huge boost in our economic impact and our overall operations so that we can really begin to scale our conservation work to levels that are significantly higher than what we're doing today.
Is there enough lodging and other things like that around the zoo?
We actually did a study last year, and it really indicated that there was a pretty significant need. So we probably host a half a dozen to a dozen meetings at the zoo every year. Different, animal organizations from, it could be as large as the AZA conference where we have 3,000 people coming into town, or the ZAA conference, or a zookeeper conference, or different conservation activities. And right now we typically book hotels in Dublin, or we book hotels in Polaris. And it's not terribly convenient. It works out fine. Those are great partners. But to be able to have lodging closer to the zoo would be a real asset for us. So I think there's a need, particularly with the growth that's happening in northern Columbus and Delaware County right now. So, yeah, we're pretty excited, and I think that could be something that we'll look at in the future.
Well, we're just about out of time. So here we are coming into spring. What are your spring hours?
So right now we are open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then that will move to 6 p.m., 9 to 6 later in the summer, 7 days a week. And so come on out. We'd love to see you.
And of course, if anybody has any questions, the website is
columbuszoo.org.
Easy to remember. Thanks so much, Tom, and we look forward to you coming back again and giving us another update on the zoo soon.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Our guest on the program today has been Tom Schmid, the president and CEO of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.